It's been weeks since Haitham was first announced, and since the latest beta update brought no change to his kit, that probably means he's in a finalized state. Beta surely hasn't been smooth for him, as he got nerfed in a significant way at one point, and then buffed again later. Overall, compared to his first version, as I said in past videos I've made about him, he is slightly weaker and less flexible, but still quite good. In this video, I will give a more concrete statement on how good I think he'll be, and I will analyze why he might look better in certain setups rather than others depending on what you have. Let's get straight into it. First of all, what type of character is he? As a Dendro sustained damage dealer, he has access to basically every available Dendro team, since all the Dendro up he can generate makes him fit well on standard spread teams and all possible bloom teams, including more quirky ones such as Quick Bloom. The only other Dendro character who can currently do the same is Nahida, since she can generate very consistent Dendro application on field. However, Nahida might not be the most appropriate comparison for him, since he just carries more of the team load by himself than she usually does, in terms of raw damage. By this, I mean that Haitham's damage contribution is carry-like on most teams, which means he's a bit more reliant on investment than she is to do his role properly. Still, Haitham isn't a traditional high-end hypercarry on any team, since even the spread teams that focus the most on his damage don't really provide him the massive supportive buffs some hypercarries get. In terms of comparisons, I actually feel like Cyno is a good baseline. I know, I might have shocked you with this comment, since Cyno is infamous for being a below-average character in general. While I don't entirely agree with that, Cyno is a good comparison for Haitham, since they're both sustained DPS that can be used on quickened teams, but can't make use of great Electro sub DPS properly for one reason or another, so they end up performing better on something less traditional, like Quick Bloom. As a reminder, Quick Bloom is a team that mixes bloom generation with quicken uptime. Just like Haitham, Cyno can be used on Quick Bloom, and that's just a much greater option than Quicken for him, since his uptime doesn't match with stuff like resistance reduction duration from Anemo's Words or Fischl's Oz uptime duration, but it works nicely for Hyperbloom's generation consistency. Likewise, Hyperbloom is a good way to compensate for the poor fit Electro sub DPS represent for Haitham. However, Haitham should feel quite a bit less restrictive than Cyno, for several reasons. For one, his quickened performance has higher potential than Cyno's, and that's mainly because he can make better use of a support like Nahida. While both have some kind of EM scaling in their kits, and obviously both benefit from Quicken as an EM scaling elemental reaction, Haitham scales from EM way more significantly than Cyno. In fact, while their team damage performance on spread teams without Nahida is rather similar, and by that I mean similarly disappointing, Nahida significantly tips the scale in Haitham's favor, and ultimately makes Quicken a pretty decent option from a meta perspective for him. Of course, Haitham also won't suffer from the same structural issues Cyno suffers from, like clunkiness in multi-wave type of content when it comes to Quicken uptime, as he will generate Dendro application by himself to ensure its consistency. Still, since he's unable to leave the field without losing his Dendro infusion, that means you won't be able to reapply things like Nahida's elemental skill, Oz, or Yae turrets during his damage window, which while standard for carries in general, It does make his compositions less flexible if compared to other quickened compositions that don't have carries with long on-field uptime. Obviously, Old Haitham will also be usable on all the Dendro teams Cyno can be used on, like Bloom or Burgeon, with results that should at least be comparable to pre-existent options within the niche. All in all, Old Haitham's best composition, namely Quick Bloom, should perform similarly to Cyno's, but it has much higher floor in terms of lower end compositions, which makes him considerably more flexible in terms of how he can single-handedly improve your account. So, where does that place him from a meta perspective? In a lot of ways, he's kinda like Ayato. He has a lot of compositions that can be rather strong, but also some really good compositions tied to Hyper Bloom, and doesn't benefit from investment incredibly well, as his signature weapon isn't much better than other good alternatives, and his constellations are just average. Moreover, since his damage contribution isn't hyper carry-like by any means on most teams, he just scales worse from investment than somebody like Ito or Wanderer, so he's more comparable to a character like Ayato. To expand on that, free-to-play level investment is where Old Haitham will excel, since all the Dendro teams he fits on, excluding Spread, all rely on EM scaling transformative reactions to some degree, which won't particularly benefit from whale level investment excluding anomalies such as Nahida's Constellation 2. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a character that can compete with the best damage dealers in the game at whale investment, Old Haitham might not be the answer, since his teams that will benefit the most from that type of investment, so Spread teams, just look worse from a numerical perspective than something like Hutao Double Hydro teams, or even Quickswap Aggravate teams that take advantage of Yae and Fischl to the fullest. To be honest, this type of team is still a work in progress for him, since triple Dendro setups should have more potential going forward. But currently there aren't strong enough Dendro sub DPS other than Nahida to make those compositions decisively better than Spread with double Electro and double Dendro. Overall, Old Haitham should definitely be an above average unit, which might even look very good for your account depending on the average level of investment you have, as Quick Bloom's performance specifically has nothing to envy to any team in the game from a damage perspective at a free-to-play level of investment. I'm done for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time!